so starting the same way we have each week, we'll recline on our backs, knees bent, feet planted on the floor. We will start this 6th class the way we have each of the others, starting to focus on our breath. So just notice first where the breath is in the body, without changing it just yet. Just notice what you brought with you today, the quality of the breath. Notice where in the body the breath is moving freely, and where it might take a little more effort. And then start to move into more of a regulated yoga breathing pattern. So you might make the breath a little fuller, a little smoother, a little longer than when you arrived today. You might notice the belly rising and falling. So allow the belly to rise and fall with what we call equal effort and equal ease. So not forcing the belly to puff up, but just letting it do so as a natural extension of the inhalation. Fall back on the exhalation. And then we'll see if we can make that connection to the pelvic floor. Just another reminder that on the inhale, the pelvic floor will move down slightly, subtly, with the excursion of the diaphragm. And on the exhale, it'll move back up slightly or engage subtly. So we're just trying to facilitate that voluntary pelvic floor contraction and release with our breath. And then we're going to see, now that we have breath and pelvic floor awareness, we're going to see if we can add a bit of movement. So we're going to move back into those paper slides, which we've done in a couple of the other classes. So lifting the foot on exhalation, and it's barely going to lift. Just lifting enough that you could slide a piece of paper underneath. And moving again on the exhalation, so that we have the support of the breath and pelvic floor. Good. We'll move through maybe 6 or 8 on each side. Little less, check. But there you go. Good. Stay with the breath. Stay with the pelvic floor awareness. And the movement on the exhalation. One or two more. Done, we'll make our way up to hands and knees. So coming into our tabletop position. You can be on the tops of the feet, or you can have the toes tucked under, whichever you prefer. You can pat the knees. We're just going to start moving through cat and dog or cat and cow, rounding on exhalation, and releasing and opening the heart and chest on the inhalation. Back and forth. Just combining breath and movement. Really trying to round that low back as you exhale. Pelvic floor will lift slightly. Of course, this can be done in a chair if needed. Okay, from here we're going to move into the same sequence we did last week, which is to exhale back to forward hero, and then inhale up to tabletop, and exhale into downward dog. Just slowly opening up the backs of the legs in downward dog. Keeping the chest back towards the thighs. Knees can stay bent if that helps you get a better position. So inhale back to tabletop and exhale back to forward hero. And then when you're ready, you'll inhale to tabletop and exhale back to downward dog again. Really trying to bring the chest through towards the thighs. Good, excellent. Be mindful of that weight into your hands, keeping some weight in the index finger and thumb. Fingers spread wide. Your hands are part of your foundation in this pose. And back to tabletop, and take a moment to rest in Forward hero, or if the shoulders need a break, take the arms back beside the thighs into child's pose. And for one more if you like, or just rest in child's pose. Good, really nice. And then we're going to meet in child's pose for a moment, or forward hero, arms extended or back, whichever you prefer. And then we're going to come up to tabletop. So in tabletop, we're going to find just a neutral spine position. And then we're going to take the right leg up. And if it feels available for you, we'll take the left arm. You can always have a chair handy here if you need to help with that 2-limb lifting. And you're welcome to stay here, or we're going to add on and come into some crunches. As we exhale, we'll pull everything in round the back, and then inhale, reach out. Exhale, pull everything in. Inhale, reach out. Good. You can do a handful on one side and then switch to the other, or you can alternate. And if kneeling doesn't work, you can do these standing and just pull in and inhale to extend. Just become aware of the wobbling and the instability. Perfectly fine. We're getting everything in the core to wake up. Stimulating all those nerves, muscle fibers. Good. Other side, if you haven't switched yet. Sometimes when we're doing this, it becomes more about just moving our limbs. So really try and have the spine round through that pull-in crunch. As you exhale, pelvic floor supporting the movement. Good. And then you can just come back to forward hero for a moment. Let the belly stretch out a little bit. And the breath slow down. When you're ready, we're going to slowly make our way to standing. And we'll come to the top of our mats for a moment. Just come into a comfortable standing position. And just try to feel that the feet are even, facing forward. Ankles are square. And then kneecaps will lift to engage the thigh muscles. Move through the pelvis a little bit and just find a nice neutral position. Lift the rib cage away from the pelvis. So you just really lengthen through the outer waist. Open the chest, bring the arms back in the shoulder sockets, and thumbs facing forward at least, just so we don't have that internal rotation at the shoulder. Good. And then close your eyes for a moment and just feel into the pose. Now that we've built it, just feel how natural that feels. And maybe it doesn't. Notice if you have more weight in one side versus the other. See if you can even it out a little bit. And then we'll open the eyes. Inhale to bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold a little deeper. Knees can bend if they need to. Inhale, rise all the way up from strong legs. And exhale the hands to the heart. Good. Okay, we'll keep going. Inhale. Exhale, fold. You can come onto a chair if you need to keep the head at heart level. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold a little deeper. And then inhale to rise. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good, we'll keep going, a couple more. Inhale. Exhale, let all the breath out. Inhale, get long in the spine. Exhale, big hip hinge. Inhale to rise. And exhale to the heart. Couple more, moving with your breath now. Last one. When you get back to hands at the heart, again, just close the eyes. Make any little adjustments that make you feel a little more centered, a little more balanced. Good. The right leg up and over. Sit in a little bit of that chair, and then left arm, and then we're going to refine a bit. We're just going to notice if our body turned, if the pelvis turned while we're in that balanced position, and if it did, we'll just try and turn back. So just play with coming back to center a little. Play with the wiggling of the foot, become really grounded. Steady gaze, steady breath. Switch the block to the other side. And same thing. Okay, so now it's left leg up and over. So you got to sit in this chair a little bit. We want this standing leg to be bent slightly. Get into these stability muscles. And now it'll be right arm. This is that pose that's good for the brain as well, because we're crossing the body several times. Steady breath. Steady awareness to the pelvic floor and core supports. And then release the arms and the leg. Good, we're going to go back. We're going to do it one more time on each side. Sometimes balance just tends to be a little easier the second time through. So you can change it up a bit if you want to challenge yourself now that your body knows what's expected. But it'll be right leg up and over. Sit in a little bit of that chair. And then left arm. And then we're going to refine a bit, and we're just going to notice if our body turned, if the pelvis turned while we're in that balanced position. And if it did, we'll just try and turn back. So just play with coming back to center a little. Play with the wiggling of the foot, become really grounded. Steady gaze, steady breath. Last side. Left leg up and over. And then arms out. And right arm. Up. We can modify just about anything to a chair if needed. Good long exhalations here. Open the wings and uncross the legs. Okay. We'll come down to our knees again for the moment. And we will be moving back and forth into this position. So yeah, pat the knees if you prefer. Also, you can, if full knee flexion to this position isn't possible, we can always put a blanket this way so that we don't go into that full knee flexion. Okay, so for the moment we're just going to tuck the toes under and just get a little opening through the back feet. And you might come back a little, you might put the hands down, just a very gentle stretch, nothing that makes the breath change. Okay, then we're going to come back up. So normally we like to exhale when we go back, but because we're going to focus on the pelvic floor, we're going to inhale to sit back on our heels. So we'll tuck the toes back under and be on the tops of the feet again. We can move with the arms if we like. So we'll exhale and And then we'll inhale, pelvic floor will relax. And we'll exhale, come back up. Inhale, pelvic floor and diaphragm will move down. Exhale, they'll come back up. We'll move a few more times that way. So we can change the breath to suit our intention, which is a really important part of our yoga practice. Deciding why we're doing something and how we want the breath to help support and facilitate that. One more. Big reach up. And inhale back. Excellent. And then we're going to come right down onto our bellies. And our hands will be approximately under the shoulders. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable and the shoulders are tight and you can't really get your hand flat on the ground, the whole hand, then you can turn the fingertips out a bit and it'll give you a little more space. All we're going to do is anchor the legs and the pelvis down. So reach one leg back and then the other just to get really long. And then we're going to come up and come back down. Move with both sides of the breath. And this is a trickier one to switch, but we're going to try and exhale to lift up. We normally inhale to lift up in this one when we open the heart. But see if you can switch it up and exhale to lift. Just so we get that voluntary pelvic floor engagement when the diaphragm moves up. And the glutes will engage a little bit in this one to help support the back. Just nice, easy lifts. Up and down. We'll do 3 or 4 more. Good. Strong pelvis pressing down. When you've had enough, just bring the hands together and rest the forehead. And if it feels comfortable, turn the toes in and the heels out. Just give the sacral area a little bit more space to release. Breath slow down again. Okay. We're going to come up. Well, just lift the head and shoulders really. You're going to interlace the hands. And when you do that, you'll have one pinky on the bottom. You're going to tuck it under so you have a nice even base. Okay, and then we're just going to lift up onto knees. Toes can tuck under. So you can already feel the core working here. Back muscles, belly muscles, inner and outer thighs start to work. So we'll just take a few breaths here. And you're welcome to stay here Or if you have a little more energy, you'll just bring the knees up off the floor. Push back through the heels. So elbows are under shoulders. Make the heels reach back as far as possible. And after our last exhale, we'll bring the knees back down, and then the belly. And we'll just rest again. So when we're on forearms, that's called dolphin plank. So we'll come up, we'll do either that again, or we can come into a full plank with arms straight. And again, we can start with knees down if we need that for today. And then if we get there and we feel like, oh, I still have some more to offer, then we come up into a full plank. And if you reach back through those heels, that'll help you out a little bit. Press the whole hand down. Get really strong through the foundation of the hands. Good. Excellent. Really good. Very strong. Finish your exhalation, and then we'll gently lower knees back down. Come all the way back down. Another resting position. Okay, guys, think you have one more plank left in you? Kim's just laughing, there's no response.
Is it cedar or pine?
Okay, come down for just a sec, I want to show you something. There's these muscles in the side body here that wrap in with the lats, and sometimes we don't always use them. So what we're going to do is try and come in and just watch around that area and my mid to upper back. We're going to come into our plank, which is already really good, by the way, but we're going to see if we can add a little more strength by tapping into this serratus anterior and making more lift come from the chest. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. So sometimes we stay here and we just want to come up a little bit. But it's not a lift from the hips, it's actually from the wrap of the rib cage. Okay? So let's just see if we can connect into that. Get a little stronger through our pose. That's it. Really good. Yeah, and then knees will come up. And then find that, bring your awareness to the side rib cage. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, a little less shoulder, a little more rib cage. Good. Put your mind right here and lift there. There you go. You got it. Good. And then bring the knees down and come back down for one more rest. Planks are super efficient, full body pose. Pretty much everything's working. And when you're ready, we're just going to come over onto our backs. finishing the way we started. So we're going to bend the knees, plant the feet. This time we're going to let the eyes close. Let the breath slow down from the strong planks. Just come back to some breath awareness. Feel the movement of the torso. Feel the ribs moving. And see if you can even feel the back ribs and the side ribs moving. And then we're going to take the right knee up, grab hold of it, and the left knee come into knee hugs. And you can move a little bit with your knee hugs. Inhale the knees away, exhale, draw them in. Do that a few times. Can even rock side to side. Feel that release into the low back. And then when you feel ready, you'll just stretch the legs out into your Shavasana position. If you need any little adjustments to get a touch more comfortable, just go ahead and make some little movements. And then allow the body to become still. Let the breath fall into its natural pattern. Feel or imagine the soles of the feet beginning to soften and release. Toes and the tops of the feet. Feel the calves and the shins soften. Creases at the backs of the knees, letting go. All the muscles of the thighs relaxing. Feel the entire pelvis release into your mat, settling. And the hip muscles stop working. And then become just gently aware of the easy movement through belly, ribs, and chest all moving together. And then feel the same movement into the back, the entire back torso, moving gently with each breath. Low back, ribs, and upper back. The shoulders become heavy, so the full arms can release. All the arm muscles letting go. Muscles relax. The jaw muscles release. And then the whole face soften. Relax. And allow the whole body to rest. The breath again, and allow it to deepen slightly. And then just start to bring small movements back into the body, wiggling toes, wiggling fingers, turning ankles and wrists. Stretch out or hug in, whatever feels right for you. And then we'll slowly make our way to our side. And then up to a seated position. So on a block, a bolster, a chair, legs out in front or legs crossed in, whatever feels best. Just come for a seated awareness practice for a moment. So build your upright spine again. Feel the pelvis root down and the spine rise up. Breath can flow freely again, and eyes will close again if they've opened. Allow the jaw to be soft. And then just become aware once again of the body. Seeing if you can connect to the body as a whole. And then become a little more acutely aware, noticing parts of the body that are touching the ground or the mat that you're on. Parts touching the prop that you may be sitting on. Notice the body parts that touch other body parts. And the body parts that are just touching air. Become momentarily aware of the toes, soles of the feet, tops of the feet, ankles, shins, knees, thighs, the hips, front of the belly, the front ribs, chest, low back, mid back, and upper back, both shoulders, the upper arms, the elbows, lower arms, backs of the hands, palms, fingers and thumbs, front of the throat, back of the neck, and the face, back of the skull, and crown of the head. And then see if you can connect your awareness to the body as a whole again. Feeling into the whole body. Whole body. Bring the hands together at the heart. And we'll just take a nice full inhale. Empty it completely. Let the eyes open. And namaste.